You like her. She's smart, attractive. You had a real conversation and something just clicked. But the rule is clear, right? Do not text first. Show interest too soon and you look needy, you look desperate, and you hand over all your power if you do that. So again, you wait, you check your phone, you wonder what she's thinking. You tell yourself this is just strategy. This is confidence. This is how it's supposed to work. And here's what she's thinking on the other side of your silence. And I promise you, it's not what you're hoping for. Welcome to the Dating Rulebook is Wrong. I'm Mariana. I'm a dating and relationship coach. And today we're going to talk about why men are taught to hold genuine interest. Let's get honest. The never text first rule was actually built on a very specific idea. If you're harder to get, you're more valuable. If she has to chase, she'll want you more. Scarcity creates the desire. And in certain contexts, certain people, certain dynamics, that's not entirely wrong. But here's the problem. When you apply that logic to women who are confident, self-assured, high self-esteem, it doesn't make you look powerful in their eyes. It makes you look uninterested. And women who know their worth are not interested to invest energy into someone who seems uninterested. They come to the conclusion, there's nothing there for me. I'm going to move on. So while you're at home playing it cool, she's already made her decision. And this rule is quietly costing men getting the woman that they actually want. And this rule didn't come from men who figured out how to love well and how to succeed in relationships. It came from pickup culture, from a world that has treated dating like a game, like a negotiation, where power is the goal and the ego rules, and connection was just a byproduct if it happened to show up. The core belief is whoever cares less wins. And just hold that thought. Whoever cares less wins. Think about what that premise does to a relationship before it even begins. If you're performing disinterest to win, and she's supposed to chase you to prove that she's interested in you, then what you're doing from the very beginning is building a dynamic where no one is being real. Nobody fully trusts the other person. And the whole thing is being run by games instead of actual, genuine, authentic connection. So you haven't started a relationship, you have simply started a game. And these games do not build the actual connection that I know that you're seeking. Let me tell you what happens when a high quality woman, again, like I said, a woman with confidence, options, and self-respect, encounters your silence after a date. She does not sit there and think, oh, I guess he must be busy. Oh, he's clearly a man with a lot of options and he's really wanted by a lot of women. She thinks, he probably wasn't interested. And then she adjusts her investment accordingly. She'll move on to another option who actually puts in the time and effort to see her. She will not chase. She won't analyze your absence as power or that you're very much wanted elsewhere. She doesn't lie awake at night wondering if you'll reach out. Again, she redirects her energy onto somebody else. The silence game does work, but only on a very specific type of woman. A woman who is insecure enough that your unavailability triggers her anxiety and makes her chase you to soothe it. And that's not attraction, right? That's anxiety in action. And if that's the strategy you're going for, you're not going to build a healthy relationship from the very beginning. I mean, truly, is that the type of relationship that you want? Somebody that wanted you just out of anxiety and her own wounds. Here is what high quality women actually find attractive. Clarity, okay? Clarity. A man who sees something that he wants and says so and shows it. Not desperately, not with his whole identity hanging on her every response, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows what he wants and is not ashamed of it. That reads to her self-assured man. Because listen, there's a massive difference between reaching out from a place of confidence. I enjoy talking to you, let's do it again. Versus reaching out from a place of anxiety and needing a response to feel okay. Women feel that difference instantly. Women are extraordinarily good at reading energy underneath the words. A confident man who reaches out is attractive. A desperate man who reaches out is uncomfortable. The strategy isn't wait this amount of days or hours to reach out. The strategy is know who you are well enough that reaching out doesn't feel like a risk. And I want to say this for a second because I don't think many men have really thought this through. The don't text first strategy does produce a result sometimes. But as I mentioned earlier, it does attract a certain type of woman. The type who interprets uncertainty as excitement. The type who mistakes unavailability for value. The type who is constantly chasing because it's activating something in her, which is usually rooted in anxiety or an old pattern. And that's not genuine attraction. She will pursue you, she will work harder, she will seem more interested versus the woman who is confident and grounded and just moved on. And so maybe the strategy feels like it's working for you, but you filtered out women who are high value, who you actually want, and selected the one who might add unhealthy dynamics, and you both will create unhealthy patterns over and over and over again. So it's worth knowing which one you want to be in a relationship with. And I've had this conversation with hundreds of women, different ages, backgrounds, and I ask them, what happens in your mind when a man you've had a great date with, connection with, suddenly goes silent? And the answer is pretty consistent across the board. Almost all of them think one or two things. Either he's talking to other people, is just not interested in me, or something's off. He seemed into it, but now I don't know where I stand, and I don't want to deal with that type of uncertainty. I deserved effort and clarity. And guess what? They move on. Now compare that to a man who reached out, right? Who was very clear. And no, not the guy who sent 17 messages after the date and needs a response to feel secure. Not the guy who texted at 2 a.m. after too many whiskeys, okay? But the man who, after a great date, reached out warmly and intentionally. When men do that, the answer was the same. Women said it felt good. It felt like something worth working towards. They felt safe. And not safe as in, oh my gosh, this is boring, but as in, I know where I stand with him. Women feel the difference between a man who is very uncertain and one who is very secure and real with her. And you tell me which one they prefer, if they're not running on old patterns and wounds and anxiety. So here's where I want to leave you. Stop strategizing your interest and start expressing it well and intentionally. Reach out when you want to, and not from neediness, of course, but from confidence. There's a version of showing interest that's grounded, confident, intentional. Be warm. Warmth is not weakness, okay? You're not going to turn off the right woman from that. Your warmth is what makes people want to be around you. It's going to want to make her choose you. Be direct. Tell her you had a good time. Tell her you'd like to see her again. Say the actual thing that you are feeling. The man who says the actual thing, who is openly honest with her about his feelings, stands out in a world full of men who are performing constantly. And women feel that. Be real, not strategic, not calculated, but real, authentic. Because the woman you actually want, the one who's confident and self-aware and worth building something long-lasting with, she's not impressed by all these little games. She's just not. She doesn't have time for that. She's looking for the man who is open and honest, period. And you can be that man. If you are tired of following all these countless dating rules that seems to only set you up for failure, I want to help. I work with men on exactly this: how to communicate, how to build real attraction, and how to stop playing games that are filtering out good women. Book a call, link in the description. And if you just watch this and you're not a man and you know somebody that needs to hear this, send this to them. I'll see you in the next one. Okay? Okay.